You want to talk about the air travel nightmare scenario or move on to football?
If I have to sack a dude and I only need one, why am I not going to that dude before the game and being like, yo, I'm going to throw you $100,000. Let me sack you once. Boom. Call it a night.
We really just got a real insight into the soul of Michelle Beadle. And let me tell you, it's scary in there. Is anyone ever going to give Jared Goff credit? Like, dude is pretty good.
This is the dumbest thing you've ever said on this podcast.
I cannot wait to hear the version of this story that Draymond Green tells Shannon Sharpe on Club Shay Shay.
Nothing about this, no matter how you spin it, is a good look for Draymond.
You don't have to retire, dude. Just stop acting like a doofus.
I don't even want to talk the Lakers collapse.
I'm not saying the Bear sucks.
Would you say that the Bear is your Barbie? Because that's what I've felt for the Barbie movie.
Dolphins Chiefs has like some sexier elements like Tyreek Hill and Taylor Swift. But to be honest, they're both playing like shit.
Did he cheat on Nike?
I don't. You know what? That's messed up. I've been assiduously avoiding showing my naked body to the world my whole life.
That's quite a bunch of words to put together.
You know what I think just happened? I think Tiger Woods just threw the NFL playoffs over the top rope.
For Wondery, I'm Michelle Beadle.
And I'm Peter Rosenberg.
And this is Over the Top. Here is how the show works. Best stories of the week in sports and pop culture face off. We're going to crown a champion and answer the simple question. What is the undisputed most important thing on planet Earth this week? We're going to decide it the only way we know how. Royal Rumble rules. We'll start with two stories. We decide which one is more worthy to discuss and which one has to go. After 90 seconds, a new story will be introduced, and then we have to decide whether we want to keep talking about the current story or switch to the new one. We don't know the order of the stories coming our way, but we do decide which ones get thrown over the top rope. Peter, what's up first?
Well, our first two topics fighting it out are, first of all, coaching gig updates in the NFL. Black Monday. The Falcons, Arthur Smith, see you later. Commanders, Ron Rivera, so long, Ron. They were fired on Monday, and Bill Belichick's New England career likely ended with a 17-3 snowy loss to the Jets. Not to mention Josh McDaniels, Frank Reich, Brandon Staley, who were all fired during the season. Now, that coaching carousel is up against, well, Draymond Green. If you're a European big man in the NBA, watch out. The NBA has reinstated Draymond Green after a 12-game suspension. Draymond also said on his podcast that Adam Silver talked him out of retiring.
He did not. No.
Wait, so it sounds like, if I were to guess,
yeah,
as much as we care about the coaching carousel, and I personally am celebrating the end of Ron Rivera in Washington, listen, Ron, all due respect, you're a stately, kind-seeming gentleman, so I'll hold your hand as I ease you over the top rope.
That's so nice.
But let's get these coaching, vacancies out of our lives until they're filled. Arthur Smith, a little embarrassing to freak out, screaming and cursing in your last moments as head coach, then be fired anyway. But either way, I can tell, Beadle, you want to talk Draymond Green. So get out of here, coaches. Let's talk Draymond.
Yeah, I feel bad. It's like we're kicking the coaches out twice. Here's the thing. Am I the only one that feels like that story about talking to Adam Silver and saying, I'm just going to quit, and Adam Silver saying, no, you can't do that, buddy? Does that not sound made up to you? Like, why would Adam Silver, if he wants to retire? You're 33 years old. You made a ton of money. You've got other things clearly that you'd like to be doing. Go for it. You have some anger management issues. Maybe you don't feel like it. But the other part of that concerns me is that you were asked to walk away, take a time out, work on yourself. And the first thing you thought of was, I can't handle that. I got to quit. No, nothing about this, no matter how you spin it, is a good look for Draymond. And it makes me think nothing was learned.
I cannot wait to fast forward 5 years and hear the version of this story that Draymond Green tells Shannon Sharpe on Club Shay Shay. So I'm sitting there, right? I'm sitting there, and Adam Silver's like, "You can't go." He begged me. He put his arms, his skinny little arms around my leg and said, "Draymond, don't leave." And so I decided to give the league some more.
No.
Yeah, it doesn't sound all that believable. I'm sure there's a conversation that was had, obviously. Sure. My guess is Draymond was totally posturing by being like, "I might retire." And Adam Silver was probably like, "You don't have to retire, dude. Just stop acting like a doofus. You don't have to retire."
But he probably also said, like a good dad would, he probably said, "But if you want to retire, I also understand that. That would be okay."
That wasn't, we don't need that in the story. The version he needs to tell, the Cat Williams version of this story is, he begged me to stay. And furthermore, I added to my contract that if anybody gets tangled up with me, they get suspended. Look at it. I dare you to look up Jokic's contract. You won't look it up, will you?
This is going to be a fun experiment.
And then all of Twitter goes, "I don't wear the receipts. Whatever Draymond said is true, Shay Shay." And then Shay Shay is just going to weigh in by going, "Oh, come on now. You can't say that."
Are you saying Cat Williams lied?
That's right.
Okay. So the heavy hitters are entering the ring next. I like Cat Williams. Boxing match between Anthony Joshua and Francis Ngannou is set for March. January, February, March. Okay, cool. Do we want to continue talking about Draymond and his fun stories, or do we want to switch over to the big dudes?
Well, two things. One, I don't know that I have that much to say about AJ and Ngannou having a fight. That should be really cool.
Yeah,
we just had this conversation, except it wasn't Anthony Joshua, it was Deontay Wilder. And then they decided, no, the real money is going to be in Wilder and Joshua finally fighting. And then Wilder got knocked out on the same card that Joshua won on. So now Wilder's out of the picture, and Joshua's like, "Hey, dude, you ruined our bag. I'm going to go get this bag against Francis Ngannou instead." So I think that's all there is to say about that. So I'm going to kindly show AJ and Francis over the top rope if you're good with it, Beadle.
Yep, I am. By the way, I will pay to watch this fight. That's it. That's
you should. I should add that. I will 100% be interested.
Confirmed.
Can Ngannou continue to do what he did against Tyson Fury and maybe even better, because Joshua is not as good as Tyson Fury? I think Ngannou could maybe beat Joshua. Sorry, AJ. I think it's on the table. But I don't even want to talk about Draymond much as I want to go back to Cat Williams.
Joshua and Ngannou very eagerly awaiting y'all punching each other. But right now, you're going over the top.
So long. I do want to say I also like Cat Williams.
Yeah.
And the comparison here is Draymond will one day tell stories in an interview where some of the stuff is true and some of the stuff is just completely off the dome, sort of improvised riff. I mean, it was almost like believing a promo someone would cut on an episode of Monday Night Raw.
Okay.
Like, there are true things in there, but there are other pieces that were just clearly not true. But if you say it really well, like, the entire internet is now on board.
I mean, he's a storytelling fool. He's so good. So good at it.
And wasn't it amazing though? Like, I didn't know up until that moment that there was a Cat Williams hive. But like, all of a sudden, within 24 hours, people are like, "We need receipts." I'm like, who is we? Are you Team Cat Williams now? Where were you yesterday?
Everyone has a hive, Peter.
Everyone, we need a hive. We really, really do.
Okay, yeah, but we need a hive name.
Oh, that's a great point by you. The Beatles? No, the Beatles, but spelled with like your name, but then I'm not in it at all.
Yeah, that's not that.
How about the Burgles? No, that
Burgles is not hot, but we can. What is a pack of pugs? How
about hashtag Joe Coy fan club? Could we just be that?
Well, we'd be the only one, so it's probably not taken.
I hear Joe's having a great week.
I hope that's in here somewhere, because I watched that from the beginning. And
was it as bad? Was it as bad as they said though?
It was as bad as they said. Really? I was watching it without the benefit of. Well, let's just wait. Maybe it's in the show.
All right. Well, I have to bring this one up, Beadle. I'm sorry. Here's Draymond's challenger. Yeah, Draymond is still in control. Okay. In their respective first 31 career games.
Okay. Very even number. I like that.
Yeah, there you go. Victor Wembanyama has more blocks than Wilt Chamberlain and more three-pointers than Steph Curry. But right now, the Spurs are only better than the Pistons this year. Do we want to talk about Draymond still, which we already weren't talking about, or do we want to move on to Wemby?
I certainly don't want to talk about Draymond Green anymore because it's only a matter of time until he returns to action and also gets technicals and ejected. And we can talk about it again on that particular day. So Draymond, if it's not too much, I'm not going to beg you to come back. Just please show yourself out. Over the rope you go. And first of all, those were impressive stats that you just spit out. In their first 31 games, more blocks than Wilt and more threes than Steph. That's quite a bunch of words to put together.
It really is. And like 31 is a very random number, but damn it, if it gives you that good a stat, you got to roll with it.
You got to see how far you can take that.
All right, so let me ask you a question then, Beadle. Yeah. Is he as special as those, you're seeing it up close in San Antonio, is it as special as those stats would lead you to believe, first of all?
Yes.
And second of all, how can he be so good and how can they suck so bad?
Well, they do suck right now. Trying to figure things out. I'm excited for Trey Jones it looks like he's back in the starting lineup as the point guard. I'm not going to say for good, but I hope for good. He's also not playing full minutes. It's not an official minute restriction, but it's definitely, there's a pattern and a trend there. It's 20-something minutes per game, and he's getting a lot done in those 20-something minutes. I also think that he's getting a taste of what it's going to take. And that team, however it changes, I'm not worried because this wasn't supposed to work this year anyways. So I was of the thought of 2 years from now, we'll be celebrating. And I'm still sticking with that. Lots of change can happen between now and then, but he is a once-in-a-lifetime special player. So it's the long game, friends. It's the long game.
Let's be honest, this year has already been decided. It's all about the New Year's dunk. People are going to be watching that forever. Whatever happens after that, they'll be like, oh, I remember his rookie year. You remember that dunk? And that's it.
He's had some cartoon-like moments, and I appreciate them. All right, up next, The Bear cleaned up at the Golden Globes, despite you, Peter, calling it, I believe, stupid and a caricature of itself. Do we want to continue talking about my best friend, Wemby, or switch it over to the big winners, the cast of The Bear?
Well, let's give the people what they want. We know our hack producers want me to defend my argument against this show, which is now being so lauded. So, Wemby, careful on your way over the top. Please. We don't want you, Beadle, to lose you, but we're going to throw you over the top and continue on now with The Bear cleaning up at the Golden Globes.
Yes, chef.
Okay, let me explain. I'm not saying The Bear sucks. I'm not.
She hope not.
And I understand people love it, and that's cool. I know that some shows take longer than others to get into, right? Mm-hmm. Like I'm rewatching with my wife. She'd never seen 6 Feet Under. We're in season 4 right now. All like right. Even that took a couple of episodes for, she wasn't like, oh, this is bad, but it took a couple to be like, oh my God, what's going to happen next?
Yeah, they gotta get you.
And I consider 6 Feet Under to be one of the great dramas of all time. So I see shows take time. Here's what bothered me about The Bear. I watched the entire first season.
Okay.
And I still was kind of like, at the end, I'm like, I just don't feel it. It just feels like this kitschy thing. And like the storylines episode to episode seem really cheesy to me. And then on top of that, everyone's yelling at me that I have to keep going. I have to. And it's almost like it becomes this obnoxious.
I get that.
I don't want to talk about me and Beatles, sort of political persuasion and the kind of people that we are, but we're in sort of similar circles. Mm-hmm. And it becomes this sort of intellectual challenge of like, are you smart enough to get to the point where you love The Bear? And I just kind of want to be like, no, I'm not.
Would you say that The Bear is your Barbie? Because that's what I've felt for the Barbie movie.
You mean everyone in your world was sort of like, this is so smart.
Everyone in the world was saying that to the effect of 1.5 billion and counting.
Right.
And yet, I haven't hated a movie more than that in some time.
Because you were supposed to like it.
I was supposed to like it.
You strong, modern feminist Michelle Beadle you were supposed to love Barbie.
It was supposed to be my call.
It's fine. It's fine. I just, oh my God, but when you get to episode 4 of season 2, that's a lot of fucking episodes, bro.
Season 2 was good because it felt like each episode, it was sort of an excuse for each character to have their own moment in the sun. And I did appreciate that. Like the one dude got to go international to learn how to do pastries. And it was nice to see each character be built out that way. And then, of course, the big pinnacle is the Christmas episode where everybody's in it and Jamie Lee Curtis steals everything. And it's just, it was tense. It was a very tense episode of television.
Okay, but do you feel me that season 1 was tough?
I went back to The Bear out of almost and I do this with a lot of shows, a sense of duty, if you will. Like I started it. Let me go see it again and I loved season 2 much more than season 1.
At some point, I'm going to be the last person to finish season 2. It's going to take a day of real boredom. Maybe my wife and I will get into an argument and be like, we live in a New York apartment. There's nothing to do. And I'll just be sitting in the living room like, you know what? I'm not going to watch the fucking Bear. But but by the way, I do think that the girl, she won the Golden Globe.
Yes, I think so, right? Yeah, I think so.
She is great. And so is Jeremy Allen White, whose name I now know after, who, by the way, loved him for years on Shameless. Never knew his name. Took him a good 8 years, but now I know Jeremy. I still
call him Lip, and I probably will to the day I die.
You know what? I respect it. All right. Our last challenger of the half. Yes. Ranking mid-season collapses. LeBron says the Lakers, quote, just suck right now.
Fair.
Okay. Weeks after winning the in-season tournament, the Eagles just got blown out by the Giants for their 5th loss since starting 10-1. And the Jaguars missed the playoffs after starting 8-3. I think we've covered the Bear Golden Globes, no?
We have. I'm good with the Bear being done. So, and they're probably still partying anyways.
Yeah.
Well into the week. And rightfully so. So yeah, let's do it.
Sorry, Carmi. But yes, chef, you're going over the top. See ya.
No.
Man, these collapses, Beadle. I'm sure you're very locked into the Lakers collapse.
But it doesn't feel dramatic like the football collapses, does it? Because we still have a lot of season left, and they did this last year. So I don't even want to talk the Lakers collapse. I think the football collapses deserve all of the minutes that we have here. All right,
so which is worse then? Is it Jacksonville not being able to beat the worst team in their division, the Tennessee Titans, to make the playoffs? Or is it the Eagles who needed wins the last couple of weeks?
Yeah.
One home loss against the Cardinals and then a road loss badly to the lowly Giants when you have every reason to win. Which one's worse?
I think you and I will probably agree on this one. The hopes for Jacksonville, while their season started out strong, I don't believe any of us were big buyers in the Jaguars moving forward. So what they did, okay, it's disappointing and it's not awesome. It is what it is, though. The Eagles, on the other hand, had every intention and goal and aspiration to be in the Super Bowl here in a few weeks. And from what I've seen in the last couple games of their season, And I even put money on them before the season started, and I'm angry. I'm angrier than most people, to be quite honest. I had them beating the Ravens in the Super Bowl, and I would win $1 million. And now it's looking like I'm going to lose along with the Eagles. Season
Wait,
sucks.
would you really have won $1 million?
No, God, no.
I was like,
I'd be much, much angrier. That was true.
Well, two things. Number one, Ravens Eagles was my pick as well.
Nice.
I don't remember who I had winning though. I should probably look into that. And how about this? My good friend Mark Ballard had like a 20-leg bet yesterday that would have netted him like 10 grand or 8 grand. All he needed was an Eagles money line win. They just had to win. And
Come
he couldn't
on, dude.
even get
the
that.
Giants.
Yeah, they're in trouble. You don't even love them against the Bucks this weekend. Like, it's not good.
There's a real chance. And Dallas Goedert, I know he came out and said, we're just waiting on the playoffs. That's why we're like this. I don't know if that light switch exists, sir, but maybe for your
sake it does. And Dallas, by the way, for my 50th birthday, that's when I'm finally, in 5 years, I'm finally going to get after that six-pack, dude. You wait and see. I'm going to hit the gym hard.
I was just waiting for the right time. Wow, we're halfway through the show already? That's so weird. Right now, the most important topic of the day, it is the collapse of a couple of football teams, but epic collapse by the Philadelphia Eagles specifically. We're going to try to get our thoughts together, Peter. I'm going to convince you of the Bear. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Over the Top right now, the most important topic of the week is the collapse of both the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Philadelphia Eagles. Animals, both of them. Interesting. Peter?
Oh, and wow, that's so crazy. And we were talking about the bear. Bears, Jaguars. Let's talk Dolphins, shall we? Okay, our next challenger. Okay. Oh my God, it's another animal. How do you like that?
What?
That's right. Last year, the Lions went 9-8, but they missed the playoffs on the last day of the regular season. This year, they're the NFC's third seed. They're hosting a playoff game. They're poised to make a run. Do we want to talk about the failures of the Eagles and the Jags or the success of Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions?
I mean, come on. Look, the collapse has happened. We'll see what the Eagles are able to pull out of their heinies, but y'all got to go over the top. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week. Here's the deal. The Detroit Lions, I've been calling them America's team for the last couple seasons. Dan Campbell is just a hoot, as the kids like to say, probably never.
No kids say that. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, fair enough. But what I love about this is the vibe. I mean, you saw over the week, this stadium is going to crumble under the excitement, the noise levels, all that. I have one question, though, because they are hosting the Rams. I ask you, Peter, this has been a topic of conversation amongst friends. Are they going to show any kind of tribute video to Matt Stafford?
At a playoff game when you haven't had many. He hasn't been back prior to this?
No, this is a big moment. His wife already re-released his original video that he put together this week, back from the day when he was thanking the city of Detroit, because they had a lovely time, apparently.
All right, you're going to do something.
Okay, but like what?
You may not do tribute video. You may just do like during intros or national anthem, show like the long shot of him.
Okay.
Like you got to give him a
so
moment
you clap,
for sure.
And then you boo from there on out.
I don't know if you ever boo him. Like, do you ever boo Stafford?
I do, yeah. It's the opponent. It's the enemy. They stand between us and moving forward. Yeah, no, I'm booing. I'm making it loud and gross.
All right. But by the way, what a cool story in general. I agree. I loved the Lions all year. Like in our pick segment on the K Show, I rode them. I mean, they gave me so many wins. They cover at home so much. They're such a great team to bet because they pour it on offensively. And is anyone ever going to give Jared Goff credit? Like he gets thrown around as a punchline a lot. Like dude is pretty good and this team is damn good. And you're right, Dan Campbell, as all the kids say, I see it on TikTok all the time. He is such a hoot.
Such a hoot. He's such a hoot. No, I don't think Jared Goff will ever. He's the guy you're like, well, he got to a Super Bowl. Like it's never because of anything he did.
So messed up.
Coming in hot. The NBA fined the Brooklyn Nets $100,000 for violating the NBA's new load management policy. Yeah, they did. After they found that 4 Nets rotation players could have played in a game against the Bucks last month. You know, things we knew the minute it was happening. Do you want to continue talking about what we hope is a miraculous run for this Lions team and they go all the way, or do we switch to load management fines actually happening?
I hate the load management thing so much.
Yeah.
The Nets are so boring. The idea of the combination of talking Nets and load management makes me actually want to cancel this show permanently and just forfeit whatever money we're owed by the company. I don't.
Okay, I don't want to do that for the whoever's listening. I don't want to. Do that.
We know Beadle does not forfeit money.
No, we don't forfeit money.
But come on, how do we take that over this Detroit? So there's still more. There's more gas in the tank with these Detroit Lions, don't you think?
I do, but my only question about the Nets before we show them out: why did it take this long to confirm? And what is the confirmation process like behind the scenes? Because you could have just asked the dudes that night. We knew they weren't hurt. Like, what exactly went down that you finally went, aha, we've come to a conclusion, $100,000.
And you could also make the case, why was this one like so cut and dry and other ones were not? Because there's been a lot of moments like this throughout the last few years of the NBA, but this was
too big.
This was a home game, and it was a winnable. By the way, it wasn't like a completely unwinnable game.
Well, it is when you sit 4 dudes.
But it is when you sit 4 dudes. Anyways, get the hell out of here, Brooklyn Nets. Let's go back to the Lions because you brought up something that I love, the crowd, because it's already hyped. Yo, Detroit can be in the Thanksgiving game. Their record could be like 4-7 at the Thanksgiving game, and the crowd is lit. Like as long as they're not like 0-11 going into Thanksgiving, it looks pretty good in there. I can't even picture what it's going to be like for an actual live playoff game that, by the way, they're favored to win. Like, they should win. Although the Rams have gotten pesky as this season has gone on. It seems like I was worried that this Rams team was going to be one of those Super Bowl team that wins and then immediately falls off the map and never comes back.
Yeah.
And Sean McVay said, not so fast.
From the dead.
Did you just say, what did you just say about resurrect? Resurrect. So I'm not ready to hand this game to the Lions yet, but I have to tell you.
I want to.
I don't have a dog in the fight. I don't have a team to root for in the playoffs. How do you not root for the Lions? You kind of have to.
And not only that, after the league tried to stick it to them and cheat for the Cowboys a couple weeks ago, like, come on, we don't forget that moment. The Lions didn't forget that moment before last weekend's games. Their social media account had fun with it. And I love a good social media account run by a team or company, and they do have one of those. So I think over-under on how many...
Campbell trolled during the game, too.
You have to. Oh, yeah, he did. Of course he did. He does. He
ran the play back. I love
petty, like petty people should be. Do we get decibel level graphics?
Oh, it should be a decibel level situation. Yeah, you should be thinking 1991 Minnesota Twins vibes. Give me all the Midwest noise. Okay, entering the squared circle next. A few players in the NFL got paid because of contract incentives this week. Chris Jones got a sack that landed him a $1.25 million bonus, while Jadeveon Clowney had a sack for $750,000. Nice. Jordan Love got $500,000 for making the playoffs. And DeAndre Hopkins had 7 catches for 46 yards on Sunday to squeak in an extra $500,000. You want to talk about incentives, player incentives, or stick with the Detroit Lions?
Love the Lions, and hopefully we'll be talking about them for the next few weeks. But let's go incentives. So, Mr. Goff, Mr. Campbell, please, by all means. Careful.
Oh, the Lions are out of here.
Careful. I don't want anyone getting hurt. No excuses. The incentives will always and forever be so much fun. For a variety of reasons. One, because those of us civilians, for some reason, we're like taking joy in this dude getting $1.25 million. For me, it's the Jordan Love of it all, because how many times this year did we hear that he's not good enough to be a quarterback in this league, much less get this team to the playoffs way?
What morons are you listening to? Who says this?
A lot of people said it. I'm not naming names because I like some of them.
I know one of them. I think one of them works at your station.
I'm not saying nothing. But look, in fairness...
I think I know.
In fairness, like he was not supposed to be here this early, or if at all, right? So a $500,000 bonus, cool. I have one question, Peter, and I'm always thinking about how to skirt the rules, right? If I'm up for a 2-part, for example, it's a sack situation, because catching and all that's kind of up to you and your quarterback, and y'all figure it out. But if I have to sack a dude and I only need one, why am I not going to that dude before the game and being like, yo, I'm going to throw you $100,000, especially in the case of Chris Jones, 1.25, $50,000. Let me sack you once. Boom. Call it a night.
Because it would be, if it ever got out really bad, would be
how's it going to get out? I'm not texting it.
You know,
this is a call.
We really just got a real insight into the soul of Michelle Beadle. And let me tell you, it's scary in there. I don't like what I've seen. Let me just say this on the Jordan Love of it all.
Yeah.
If you just watch the way this dude plays and the throws he's capable of, he's incredible. Dude, they did it again. Favre to Rodgers to Love. He is the real deal. And one funny thing about, maybe not about bonuses, but about those numbers that you care about. Like in week 18, on my team, for example, the only thing that the Commanders are trying to do, Terry McLaurin was trying to hit 1,000 yards for 4 straight seasons. And he did, got his 1,000-yard season.
Nice.
Yo, how bad are the Jets that Breece Hall came up like 6 yards short of 1,000 because the person the Jets have in charge of the math got the math wrong. They didn't realize it, didn't give him that one more carry. Granted, it was late in the game, but could he have gotten one more carry? You know how different it is when you look at a running back stats and it says 1,000 or not?
Yeah, it's just, was that a money or just a pride thing?
Just pride. Okay, it's just trying to get a running back their 1,000 yards. Because we all know, when we look up someone's stats on Pro Football Reference, you look and you go to see if they were good as a running back or even receiver, you go, let me see the 4 digits. Let me look up the 4 digits.
Yep.
994 just doesn't ring off like that.
How do you make that up to someone? You can't. What do you do?
A good hearty, I'm sorry?
No. You can take that story and shove it. All right, this next story. I don't like that I got this one, and I am going to complain my entire read through it. An Alaska Airlines flight was forced to back down land after one of the passenger doors windows flew off mid-flight. Do we continue to talk about incentives or those terrifying air monsters that we get on to go from points A to B?
I think we have to move on to the travel fears because I know because Beadle, like Drake, needs half a Xan.
Half a Xan? What am I saving them? What's wrong with you?
Well, that was always. By the way, let's the NFL playoff incentives. You're out of here. Let's keep going with the air travel. But that was always the funniest Drake line because like he thought it sounded cool, but he's like
half a Xan,
something. Half a grand, half a Xan, 13 hours till I land. I'm like, half a Xan? My mom is doing a full Xan. This isn't really that crazy, dude.
Maybe he just is not, or maybe he's got high milligram Xans, so half a Xan is equivalent of one of our full Xans.
He's just very reasonable. He's like, I'm taking half. He's not showing off. He's just telling you, I'm taking half a Xanax and then I'll land.
And it's prescribed. Here it is. Well
exactly.
done,
I need it for stress. Now, let me ask you, did you follow this story at all? Because
yes, of course I did.
So what exactly happened, Beadle? Can you take me through it? Because I kind of missed this one, even though I saw it happened.
I mean, it's a crazy story. They were on the ascent. They were at about, I want to say 10,000 feet or so. And literally the window/panel just left. And the entire plane depressurized very, very quickly, which is then why the pilot... I will say this. The thing
but keep going. But keep going.
So that's what happened. And then they slowly were allowed to turn back around and land the plane very safely. You know, you didn't have to get rid of fuel. There was never a danger of being able to land the plane again.
But was anyone sitting next to that?
No. That's the miracle of this. I think a guy lost his phone. Somebody's shirt flew off of them.
Which, by the way, I'd be very upset about.
Well, if I was in public,
if I'm in public, okay, and I'm minding my own business and my shirt gets sucked off, I'm suing the airline for embarrassment. I've been assiduously avoiding showing my naked body to the world my whole life. And if your plane malfunctions, you're getting sued, buddy.
I think it was a kit. All I know is that the audio of the pilots were so calm that in some weird way I was like, all right, I mean, that is a pretty bad situation where I would have started to take all my Xans, just in case, and I would have regretted it because he landed it quite easily.
Can I ask a follow-up question? I know we have to move on to the next thing. Follow-up question. Was there anyone sitting in that row?
I don't know if it was the row, but for sure not next to the... No, that could have been way worse for at least one person.
You'd be... at least one would be gone, right?
I would think so. I would have to think so. I don't know, and I'm glad I don't because that ain't the way to go. Of all the final destination moments, that's not the one. Now I have to take a Xanax just to talk about this.
I know. I need half a Xan. All right, guys. Up next, NFL Super Wild Card Weekend. All right. First round of the playoffs all set, and man, we got some doozies here. I'm not going to lie to you. Mm-hmm. You got Tyreek Hill going back to play Taylor Swift and the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yes.
You have the Goff-Stafford matchup in Detroit.
Boom.
Then you have Mike McCarthy going up against his old Green Bay Packers in Dallas.
Yeah.
You want to talk about the air travel nightmare scenario or move on to football?
No. I never want to talk about air travel issues and fears. So yeah, please safely show yourself out, airplane, since we have to get on you guys all of the time. No, I want to talk about the wild card matchups because we got a lot of good sassy drama organically that's going to play out.
Let's rank these games, Beadle.
Okay, Kansas City is going to be on Peacock, so let the complaining begin. It already has. I think for my money, I'm going Lions.
What's the
Rams.
best one?
Lions, Rams for me.
So Lions, Rams, you're going number one?
Number one. Yeah. You?
You know why I'll agree with you? Dolphins, Chiefs has like some sexier elements like Tyreek Hill and Taylor Swift. But to be honest, they're both playing like shit.
Thank you.
So the Rams and Lions are actually playing well. So I will go with you. I'll go Lions, Rams number one. Then I say we go to that Chiefs Dolphins number two.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Just on account of it being Tyreek back in KC. Plus, I mean, let's just be honest. Everyone's been waiting to see if this Chiefs team's about to really fall apart. I think there's a lot there. And are the Dolphins for real? I mean, it seemed like they were. And now all they do is lose, lose, lose no matter what. DJ Khaled reference, Miami, full circle.
Nailed it. Dale.
So the third game The third game then, Beadle, has to be Packers-Cowboys?
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. I remember the last time these teams played, it was freezing in the Fort Worth area. Was that the last time, or was it time before that? And we were like, is that a catch? Is that a catch? It was just like a whole thing. It went on for a week and a half.
A moment in time. Des Bryant.
Seems like yesterday. Yeah, it doesn't seem. Look, it's because Green Bay is not supposed to have a shot in hell to win that game. I think that's why we're ranking it third. Now, do I think the Cowboys are capable of making this much closer than it probably should be because that's what they do? Yes. Yes, I am.
Cool. Okay, but now I have to say what needs to be said. I'm not saying there's nothing enjoyable about them, but as they say in wrestling, Browns, Texans, Steelers, Bills, and Eagles, Bucks are all the drizzling shits. I mean, let's just be honest. Those are not sexy matchups. I mean,
but they could be. They might be.
No, you might luck into one. But like a Joe Flacco-led Browns. No, that's got CJ Stroud though, and the Browns actually being good is a Lions-y kind of thing. Okay, all right.
It's not just that. They're doing it with a 75-year-old quarterback who was watching movies while a $300 million mistake of a contract is standing off on the sidelines. To me, the Browns-Texans game is, I think it's exciting. Yeah, I know.
You know what? You're right. It just sounds like ass. Let's just be Browns at Texans. Sounds bad.
Fair, I'll give you that. Oh, our final story of the day. All right, Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods, y'all, announced he's leaving Nike after 27 years. Partnership first started when he was 20 years old. My God, it's been a long time. Do we continue talking about the wild card matchups or switch over to Tiger and Nike's unconscious or conscious uncoupling? Did he cheat on Nike?
I don't. You know what? That's messed up.
Is that what happened? Right?
It's kind of funny, but that's wrong. What you just did.
I'm sorry.
I think Tiger. I'm a big Tiger guy.
Yeah.
I admit it. I love Tiger. I'm still in. I think he's still the dude that moves the needle. He's still the dude that makes you want to watch.
Agreed.
And I have my share of Tiger Nike apparel. But at the same time, I think he did okay. I think they did okay. Like it's going to be fine. Now, here's what I hope though. Oh. Just please don't join Jordan Spieth at Under Armour.
Why?
I hate the Under Armour logo so much.
Oh, just the logo. Like that's it. You don't mind the merch
there's two things going on.
Okay.
One of the people who run Under Armour did marry my ex-girlfriend. And there are people who would say that's where the hate comes from.
What in the hell? Hold on, your ex-girlfriend married a really rich person?
Oh, I mean, beyond belief. But just so you know, that's not where the hate comes from.
Fair enough.
I want to root for Under Armour. It's from Maryland, my alma mater.
Yeah.
I just hate that Like, it's just, the logo's corny to me.
This is the dumbest thing you've ever said on this podcast.
What?
I thought you were going to be like, I don't like the material. I don't like their products. I think their shoes are whack. Like, I thought it was going to be a million.
Well, yeah,
the logo is the reason you don't want him to go to Under Armour.
Well, hold on. Logos matter. We're talking about
all
brand
logos
endorsements.
Matter. You're right, Peter. I'm so sorry.
No, but all logos are not equal.
No, apparently not. What if he's signing with, like, you know how sometimes the basketball guys, like, they'll go and they'll sign with sort of an unknown, or at least unknown to us, Chinese company, and they'll come out with like these crazy shoes. What if that would,
by the way, how much money does, but you know why Tiger won't do that? Remember, this is still the guy who resisted the live money because he's good. Like, he's got enough money. You think he goes and signs with some random brand like John Cena's old sneakers that no one here knows what they are, but it's like a $4 million deal in Beijing?
Yeah, you're right. He doesn't need anything. Although you could make the argument for a lot of guys. Look, he's not been using their products as far as the clubs and the balls and stuff like that for a while, right? Like, it's just been the apparel.
You know what I think just happened? I think Tiger Woods just threw the NFL playoffs over the top rope.
No, he didn't.
I think he did. I mean, look what just happened organically.
You said he still moved the needle.
Come on, this is the GOAT. So goodbye, NFL. We're talking El Tigre.
I can't believe it's been 27 years. I remember mocking some of his Nike commercials at Sports Nation 1,000 years ago. As if it was yesterday, like dressing up as Tiger and doing the entire commercial. I
got to tell you, he's on my bucket list. Have you ever met Tiger?
Briefly, yes.
How was it?
It was good. It was at an event at Nike. This is going to sound so obnoxious, but I went and hosted an event for them, like private company thing. And then Phil Knight came out and he and Tiger just sat and did like a talking thing. And it was
And you moderated.
Huh?
And you moderated.
It was awesome. But it was he was fine. He's kind of a nerd. Like, we all know that. He's kind of a nerd.
He does seem like, though, and maybe this is just me being a Man fan and hoping that he does seem to have a friendliness to him now that did not appear to be there before.
I agree with that. The cutthroatness of his entire everything has relaxed a bit.
Yeah, there's something between that and like having all of your flaws just like outed for the whole public to, like, you cannot fight.
No.
The demons that you have are so out on Front Street. Plus, you see him with Charlie and them playing golf together, so cute. Come on, shout to Tiger Woods.
The mannerisms, it's impeccable. I can't not love that, actually. And the girls caddying for them, like, it's just he's like the Family Guy now.
I know, it's kind of cool.
Wow.
Anyways, we'll see. Does he have one more win? We'll find out. Will it be with an ugly Under Armour U on his shirt? We don't know. That'll do it. That's 90 seconds, which means we've come to a decision. It's undisputed. It's new. It's official. The most important thing on planet Earth this week is Tiger Woods, y'all. That's right. And yes, we still reference the Chris Rock song from 25 years ago whenever we talk about him. Do you think we got it right? I don't know if we got it right, but I'm happy with it anyway.
I don't know if we got it right either, but you know what? Tiger Woods, still very important. Very important.
Either way, that's it for us. Tune in next week. We'll talk about so many things, and we will determine the only thing you need to care about and what goes over the top.